Hello friends, and welcome back to another video. My name is Katie, and since it is a NaNoWriMo, I'm going to be doing the work in progress tag. So this tag was created by Jessi Elliot. I will have her links down below in the description box. I don't believe she has this video up on her channel anymore. I did look, but I also saw this tag done by Lindsay and Lainey, Lindsay and a ton of other people, so I just got the questions off of Lainey's video. And I've been wanting to do one of these because I made it all about my novel, Further Asking. Getting all that information tucked into one video was much easier than trying to fit it into the questions, but since this project is a lot newer, a lot less fully fleshed out and developed, it's a little easier to do the questions. So without further ado, let us dive right in. What is your working title for this novel? The working title is Violent Delights, Violent Ends, which is not even close to the real title, because I simply don't have a real title for it yet. I've been calling it here on my channel my self-indulgent vampire novel, and I'm still calling it that. Obviously, one cannot name a novel self-indulgent vampire novel, so it'll have to have a title eventually, but since I'm not even done with the first draft yet, I'm not gonna worry about it. So Violent Delights, Violent Ends comes from a Shakespeare quote. It's from Romeo and Juliet, if you didn't already know, and the whole quote reads, "These violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die like fire and powder, which as they kiss, consume the sweetest honey." Very fun little quote. Where did the idea for the book come from? So really, this is two ideas completely mashed together. I've talked about this before, but in November of 2018, I came up with this humongous world and lore. I came up with the original cast of characters then, and I realized that I didn't want to write that entire novel, and I kind of broke up the aspects of that novel into several different books or potential ideas for books. Really like the ideas, but that family kind of fit as an outlier, and I realized over time that they were better suited to be vampires. Gotta love a good vampire aesthetic. And essentially this idea came together with a murder mystery when I watched The Alienist. It is an excellent show. There's 2 seasons. I will give trigger warnings though. You should probably just look up the triggers because I don't want to say them before you watch it and see if that is something you would enjoy. If you like murder mysteries, and the vibes of The Alienist are very much what has inspired the setting and the plot of half of the book, because there's 2 perspectives. So one half of the book is a murder mystery. So think our world, 1890s, America, New York, Industrial Revolutions, a grungy kind of thing. A lot of dark aesthetics, but in a fantasy world so I can do what I want, because I don't like following by real world rules. If I did, I'd write contemporary. And the magic system of this book kind of came about as a random brainstorm when this book was just a tiny, tiny little seedling. What genre does your book fall under? Adult fantasy and murder mystery, and possibly has some steampunk elements if you squint. If you squint at it. Possibly could. What actor would you pick in an adaptation of your book? I love this question. I have to have face claims for my characters before I begin writing. I must know what they look like. I'm gonna keep shaking, I'm sorry. Unfortunately for this novel, I do not have a lot of actors and actresses who I picture as the characters, but I do have faces that they look like. I'm gonna pop a few of them up on the screen. They're also all on my Pinterest, which I've realized is private, and probably should say private, because there's a lot of shit in there, and it's not very refined. I don't really want you looking at it yet. We have Chloe, our POV and main character, Emmeline, a POV and main character, Ingrid, a very important side character, Jules, Daisy, Christy, Alex, Riley, and Edgar, who are important characters in my found family. Nico, a very important side character, Casey, Chloe's best friend, Kearney and Rafferty, who are the police detectives and investigators, Chloe's siblings, Augustus, Aelia, Romulus, and Magnus. And then her parents, Eridistimos and Livia. And there are so many more, but those are all the main characters who are central to the plot at this moment in time. What is a 1-sentence synopsis of your book? I'm so glad you asked. I wrote one up specifically for this occasion, so you're in for a treat. A gay vampire tries to catch a baby-snatching mother killer, while a warlock tries not to disappoint her ancestors. Gives you virtually nothing, but it's fine, which was the entire point of it. But if that doesn't intrigue you, I don't know what will. Would this book be traditionally or self-published? I am aiming for traditional publishing. I don't think I'm cut out for self-publishing. I truly admire those who can manage to do self-publishing or hybrid publishing, because I certainly cannot. If you want to know more about my reasons of why I'm not into self-publishing, there's an awesome video by Laura Wrights that I will link in the cards, but basically everything that she says, I agree wholeheartedly. So, and she explains it in a much more eloquent and funny way than I could ever hope to achieve. So, traditional publishing, hopefully, for me. How long did it take to write the first draft? I'm still writing it. We'll see. I'm hoping to have the first draft done by the end of September. It's November, why did I say that? I'm hoping to have the first draft done by the end of November so that I can let it rest for December and then work on it in March after I'm done editing my other project that I've been working on December, January, and February. What other books would you compare to this one? I struggled with this question because I don't know. I guess my comp titles for this are if Ripper Street and The Alienist had vampires and warlocks. Essentially. It has some like few little bits of characteristics in the way the magic works that are similar to a really old children's trilogy series called Stoneheart by Charlie Fletcher. However, that could not possibly be a comp title considering that book came out in 2006. So they tend to like you to pick current books as comp titles. So we'll see. We'll see when the book's done and what other people think. The character dynamics I would like to think are a lot like the early Shadowhunter books, as well as the scope and kind of depth of the world, I would say, and the potential for more books would be akin to the way the Shadowhunter series has kind of unfolded over the years. Granted, I could make an entire video talking about why I think that series is way too overdone. All I'm saying. It has potential for many other books. Many other books. So many. Or like a mystery series, like Nora Roberts' In Death series, like the murder mystery series kind of books, is kind of what I picture this series could turn into, along with like other plot lines that occur, obviously. Who or what inspired you to write this book? This book is essentially everything that I love in fiction. If you took my fiction-loving brain out and dumped it onto a page, it would probably be this book. It is entirely for me, which is why I call it my self-indulgent vampire novel, because I'm very self-indulgent with it and I'm doing whatever I want. It's a mystery set in a fantasy world, it has mobster vampires, and it has this lore that I'm completely in love with and I think is so fun and funky and fresh. That was a weird way to put that. And I've been wanting to write this kind of lore for a while and just haven't been able to figure out how to do it. There's kind of like iterations of this kind of lore in my other works as well, so I'm very much on brand with my themes and elements that I like in stories. I can't fully explain that because spoilers. And we're not a spoiler channel here. It has the dynamics of a snarky older character protecting a young and feisty and naive younger character. Emotional characters with so much baggage. They gotta pay way extra when they're at the airport to ship those bags. It's like not a carry-on of baggage. Like full-on suitcases of it. I'm not even entirely sure why I think this is the book for me and this is what I want in a book. I like truly don't know if I can fully explain it or even like explain it to myself. It's just the story that I need to tell right now, so that's what's inspiring me to write it. And the last question. What are some things about your book that might pique the interest of readers? It's a very descriptive vampire novel. If you like vampires, you will like this. If you like warlocks, you will like this. It is very diverse with lots of people of color and LGBTQ+ people, most of which are main leads and have main storylines. It's fast-paced, it's gothic, it's romantic in like the old sense of like lots of nature and like journeys into nature. Or there will be. There's not right now, but I'm thinking about adding one. What's going on in the noggin? It has a large cast of characters with all kinds of personalities and crazy things they're doing. And of course, like most of the things that I read, write, and love, it's core about family and finding your home. How touching and sweet. So if that's your jam, I hope one day you'll be able to read this book. Those are all the questions about my work in progress. I am super excited to continue working on it. If you have any other questions, make sure you leave them down below in the comments and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability, because you know, secrety spoilers I will not reveal. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It really tells me that you're enjoying this kind of content. And if you want to see more of my rambling face, I make vlogs and other kinds of writing and academic related content. Make sure you hit that big red subscribe button down below. Anyway, happy NaNoWriMo. I will see you guys on Sunday with my first week of Nano vlog. I will see you then. Bye!